Alrighty, YouTube, what is going on? Today we are recording one of my favorite videos of the entire year on the YouTube channel. We have our top 10 wants for this year's San Diego Comic-Con event from the guys over at Mattel and WWE. I'm really stoked this year. I feel like last year and every year they just up their game, and I never know what to expect because they always just bring so much to the table. We already saw the John Cena Ultimate Edition. It's going to be a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive this year. That thing looks unbelievable, and I just don't know how they're gonna go up from here. Like that John Cena with all the title belts. I mean, that's a great exclusive, especially for his retirement year. Nice tribute for him. But again, what they're going to release is one thing. What I want as a collector is a totally other thing, and we're going to dive into that today. And I'm going to give you my top 10. I tried to keep it realistic for the sake of the video. Sometimes I have years where I really am just going for the fences and swinging for the fences, wanting the Road Warriors, wanting the Hardy Boys, you know, things like that. And they might still be on here. That, you know, that might be a yearly one until we get it, but I tried to make it pretty realistic for the majority of this list. So hopefully it makes sense. Hopefully we get some of these people so that it's not too far off. But I do have some long shots as well. So we'll see how we like it, guys. Here goes the top 10. If you're new here and you like the video by the end, please don't forget to subscribe, drop a like, all that stuff. Drop a comment of your top 10. It helps the channel grow, and it helps us connect and the whole community connect and get involved. So thank you so much. Here we go, starting off with number 10. Alrighty, guys, at number 10, we have an NXT Elite that I'm actually wanting for my personal collection, and I think some people might want this guy as well. A new guy coming up, not super popular, but we've seen now a bunch of these not so popular wrestlers getting figures that are really young, getting their first time in the lines as elites. We saw Channing Stacks Lorenzo, we saw Tony D'Angelo, and a ton more. So these guys that aren't really on TV that much, or maybe they are for NXT, but they're not huge names. They're getting figures in the Elite line. So this is one that I'm swinging for the fences on. At number 10, we have Miles Bourne. I was really impressed with Miles Bourne, his promo work and his in-ring ability when he was going against Obafemi. As you guys know, I'm a huge Obafemi fan. So when I saw that whole feud go down, I did like Miles Bourne. I know some people say that he reminds them of Randy Orton. I think he's going to be a really good up-and-coming talent, and I would really like to see maybe some renders of him. Maybe we get an Elite coming up for Miles Bourne. At the number 9 slot, we have I kind of messed up here. I didn't know who to pick for this women's wrestler at number 9, so I went with another NXT Elite, and I'm hoping we get one of these 3 names, maybe even multiple of these 3 names. Here they go. I got Jordynne Grace, Fallon Henley, and Jada Parker. I think all 3 could be deserving of an Elite figure. If not an Elite, maybe the main event figure, or whatever it might be. But I think that Jordynne Grace could sell really well as an Elite, maybe even a chase with 2 different attires. I think Jada Parker might not be as well known. Same thing with Fallon Henley. I feel like they're really talented, but they're kind of still coming up. When you got names like Jordynne Grace, Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, it's just kind of hard to get those other ones in the line, I feel like. But you never know. Those are the 3 that I would like to see. I put them all as number 9 because I couldn't pick one. So like I said, Jordynne Grace, Fallon Henley, Jada Parker. One of them I need to see at a San Diego Comic-Con. That's my number 9 slot. At 10, we're going backwards now. At number 8, we have another one that I think is super realistic that I know a bunch of people had wanted. I want to say last year. I think it's been a whole year that we've seen these guys in the WWE. We haven't gotten a figure yet. I could be wrong on the timing, but I think it's about a year. And I think that they're deserving now. I feel like they've got the contract. They're on the roster. They've been the champions of the tag team division. I am talking about the Motor City Machine Guns. I think the Motor City Machine Guns definitely deserve some Elite figures. I feel like we're probably going to see renders for these guys. It would be a shocker to me if we didn't see them in the Elite line, especially at San Diego Comic-Con. I had to throw them in the top 10 because not only are they realistic people that I think could get figures, but I also would pick these ones up. I was a huge Motor City Machine Gun fan in TNA. I feel like the figures would look really nice on a shelf if I kind of did a TNA shelf with some Jeff Hardy, some Matt Hardy's, AJ Styles that I have. So Motor City Machine Guns coming in at number 8. I think we're actually going to get these. Number 7, one of the highlighted figures in this top 10, one of my really bad wants that I need to get this year in render form, and it might be too early. Like, I don't really know if this one's realistic enough. Maybe if it was like 6 months from now and or even like 3 months from now and we're at like Ringside Fest November-ish time, I feel like this could have been a little bit more realistic, but I'm going to swing for the fences again here. At number 7, I'm really hoping for a render of El Grande Americano, Chad Gable. I love this character. I think he's been shining in the ring. Obviously, injuries came, and I think Chad Gable just got shoulder surgery, so I know he's going to be out for a little while. But if you've been around the channel, you know I'm a huge Chad Gable fan. I like him just getting TV time no matter what that is. Should he have won a singles title by now? I absolutely think so. You guys could debate me in the comment section about that. I know he's older, but I still think he can go, and I still think he's one of the most talented wrestlers in the company. I don't know, that might be a stretch, but I think he's really talented. And El Grande Americano has had some super amazing highlighted moments in the ring and backstage. I think he's a really funny character as well. This would be a really great Elite to get, and I think it would move. I think it would sell. Even if you did Chad Gable as the Elite, another Chad Gable in the line, and you had the chase be El Grande Americano, that would be sick. But again, I feel like they're going to capitalize and put him in the main line as just El Grande, so we'll see what happens. Like I said, El Grande coming in number 7. Number 6, I didn't want to put him that high. I kind of spoiled it in the beginning without even meaning to, but I did not want to put them in the top 3, so I kind of pushed it back to 6 just because I had to keep them on here. You know how it goes. My San Diego Comic-Con wants are real, guys. I had to put the Hardy Boys as a want for this year, especially with them being in the company this year in NXT, making appearances. I think they fought Fraxium for the tag belts, or the TNA tag belts. I think they put them on the line against Fraxium. They fought another NXT match on live television. I think now is the time where I can actually be realistic and say, and not just be guessing, the Hardy Boys could be getting figures at San Diego Comic-Con this year. I would not be surprised, and I would love to see it, especially in the Ultimate Edition line. I think that they've done a great job with the Steiner brothers, the Usos. They just announced the Dudley Boys. I think that was at WrestleMania weekend, are getting an Ultimate Edition 2-pack. I would absolutely love to see the Hardy Boys get those late 90s looks with all the colors, you know, Jeff with the armbands and the hair, Matt with the jerseys. I feel like these figures would look so great in the Ultimate Edition form. So they are my number 6 want in the Ultimate form, but I also put slash anything. I would take Elites, I would take main event 2-packs. I don't care what it is. I just need the Hardy Boys back in figure form in Mattel ASAP, especially if they're on some type of contract. We're in the top 5, guys, and these I think are bangers that could be happening here. There's one of them that I'm iffy on, but I think the other 4 out of 5 could be happening. Starting off with number 5, one that I think could be happening this year is Mark Henry from the Vault. I want the Elite 15. I've mentioned this before in my want videos, but I'm not going to stop until Mattel somehow hears me. I need a Mark Henry Elite 15 from the Vault being released, and I'm going to keep saying it because I feel like it's going to happen, and then I want you guys to come back to the comment section and say that I called it. I need this Mark Henry. I think the Hall of Pain was like an insane time for Mark Henry, maybe his best work ever in his career. That's my opinion. I absolutely loved it, and I loved this figure. I had this figure, and unfortunately, when I went to the military, my mother gave a big bag of my figures away to the kid I think he lived next door or across the street, and it is what it is. Hopefully he enjoyed them and he became a wrestling fan, and it just kept being passed down because that's how I became a fan. I got somebody's Jack specific figures, or even I think it was like late 90s, like the Bone Crunchers were given to me, and that's how I got into wrestling, just playing with those figures. So hopefully he's doing the same, and now he's a grown man, probably in his late teenage years, or I don't know what he is, but hopefully he's collecting figures and enjoying the hobby just like all of us. But I need Mark Henry back. He took my Mark Henry. Now I need him back, and I need him better than ever. Double jointed elbows, better standing with the ankle joints. I want the whole 9. So Mark Henry, if we could get him as an ultimate, even better, but I won't say ultimate on every single figure. I want him in the from the vault line. This is probably my most iffy one in the top 5. At number 4, we have my biggest, tallest request of the video is a Big Show Ultimate Edition. Again, these big, tall wrestlers we haven't really seen except for Andre the Giant, if I'm thinking correctly. I don't know. Drop a comment and let me know if I'm forgetting any super tall wrestlers that have gotten an Ultimate Edition. I think it's only Andre, but I think the Big Show is next in line, and I think he left AEW. The reason why I say I'm iffy is because I'm not entirely sure if he's still somehow working backstage with AEW. I don't know what Big Show's doing, but I haven't seen him or heard him talking to or with WWE or any rumors like that. Hopefully they've kept it really hush-hush and he's on like a Legends deal or something. That would be sick. I think Big Show has so many expensive and costly figures right now that they would kill it re-releasing him if it was in the from the vault line and we see that Elite 71 Big Show come back, if it's the Decade of Domination bald Big Show, whatever it might be. I think Big Show would kill it back in the Mattel line, Elite or Ultimate Edition. For me, I want to see if they could do an Ultimate, just because, like I said, I don't think we've gotten a ton of those tall wrestlers, but you never know. I wouldn't complain if it was an Elite either. Like I said, it's swinging for the fences, but I think it could be realistic with Big Show at number 4. At number 3, it's time to talk about Ultimate Editions, guys. I had a good point here that I written down. I think, and this is just me, with the new Ultimate Edition set that we got, I can't remember the number of the series. I don't have too much around me right now to look, but we got a set with Tiffany Stratton. It was Tiffany Stratton, Eddie Guerrero, and Uncle Howdy. That was the set. Very controversial. I've heard a lot of people in the figure community talking about it. I think, was it Turnbuckle Tavern maybe was talking? I can't remember. There was a lot of people chatting about this, and I actually agreed with a lot of the things that I was hearing, especially because I saw Uncle Howdy in the set, and I was talking to my friend Dave, and I said, I don't think I'm pre-ordering any of this set. And the reason why, I love the Eddie. I think the body mold looks great. They finally got it right. Tiffany Stratton, I think, is a killer wrestler, killer performer. But Uncle Howdy was one that I was like, I don't think he deserves an Ultimate. And people are like, well, why don't they deserve an Ultimate? It's a toyetic figure. Well, I don't know. For me personally, I felt like the Ultimate line always looked and felt prestigious. I felt like you had to be a top dog, like in somebody's Mount Rushmore. You know, you were a pretty big name. And at some point it fell off, and I think it was when they started putting 3 in a set. I can't remember the exact time that I was like, ooh, I don't know if I like that as an Ultimate Edition. It might have even been, I mean, Mr. T and Hulk Hogan, that worked because it was a legendary time, so I can't really complain about that one, even though we were seeing a lot of Hogans being announced and released at the time. Like I said, I can't remember exactly when it was for me. I know that somebody on the Turnbuckle Tavern had mentioned when they did the repainted Jey Uso from SummerSlam with the white gear on. That one for me was kind of a weird release after they'd just given us the Uso Ultimate Edition pack on ringside. But now with this set, like I said, Uncle Howdy to me, very toyetic. I think the whole Wyatt 6 is, and I'm not trying to bash him at all, but we like never even really see these guys on TV, and if they are on TV, it's little tag team matches here and there. It's nothing too crazy or prominent. I just felt like Uncle Howdy wasn't really a big main star to get an Ultimate Edition, and that leads me into why I think that now if we're doing that and anybody can get an Ultimate Edition, then I think at number 3 we should be getting, after my long tangent here, bear with me, I think we should be getting a Stephanie Vaquer Ultimate Edition. And the reason I say that is because, yes, we could get her in the Elite line. Yes, we could get a main event figure. All those things are true, and I hope she gets them all. But I think the Ultimate Edition would fit her entrance gear probably the best out of anything. I think they could do a really cool soft goods. They could do that helmet with the horns. They could do it really, really well. I feel like the Ultimate Edition line is the only way to debut Stephanie Vaquer. Very popular wrestler as well right now. That's my opinion, and like I said, I think with how they've been doing it, if they're going off of just who might look cool, which I'm, again, all for if that's what they're doing. For me, it felt like it used to be a pretty prestigious line. You had to be a big name wrestler with multiple championships, the whole 9 yard. But now we get Uncle Howdy before, ready for this? I wrote a list down. We get Uncle Howdy in the Ultimate Edition line before we ever got a Sheamus, The Miz, ready? Chad Gable. I know that's just my personal preference. I know. Braun Breaker. Io Sky, the current Women's World Champion. And ready for this one? This is going to shock you. We got an Uncle Howdy Ultimate Edition before we got a Liv Morgan. It's insane to me. I don't know how that happened. I don't know why it happened. But the names that I said, at least in my opinion, I think all deserve an Ultimate before Uncle Howdy and maybe even before Tiffany Stratton. Again, I could be pushing it. Drop a comment and let me know, but I don't know. That's just me. I think that if we're doing this, Stephanie Vaquer deserves 1, 2 at 3. Number 2, we have one that I just swapped literally right before I hit the play button here. At number 2, I swapped 1 and 2. We have a Kross long hair elite. That is what I want. That was my number 1 going into this video, but I do think my number 1 that I switched is a little bit more of a want for me, so I'm gonna swap them. But it's very close. At number 2, like I said, a long hair Kross. The last Kross that we got in the Elite form was before he was even released from the company. We did get a main event with the kind of like the shorter but visible hair. We got that in the main event line when he came back as a heel. I think Triple H had brought him back after he was released by Vince McMahon and that group. But we haven't gotten an Elite since he was like the NXT champ. Like, it was a long time ago. I think it was like Elite Series 93, 94 maybe. I think it was like 93, but it's been a long time. It was Elite 85, then it was Elite 93, 94-ish, and now here we are on, I don't even know what series we're on for Elites. We're very, very up from there. I think we're like, what, 30 sets away almost? 25 sets away? I don't know. Either way, Kross right now, very popular guy, not only to me, but to a lot of people in the community. I think his figure would sell like hotcakes, and they can do a lot of updates for him. They could give him a new head scan, they could give him a new design, a bunch of new tattoos, I'm sure, as well. I know he's a big tattoo guy. I think it could look really good. He's got a new soft goods shirt that has been selling really well with the hand on it. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. I think a new Kross would be a really exciting announcement to see at these announcements we're going to get for San Diego Comic-Con. And my final one at the number 1 spot, if you've made it this far, I do ask again, if you like the video, if you like the content, don't forget to subscribe, drop a like, leave a comment with your top 10, all that stuff. I want to hear from you guys what you want, because I'm sure I'm forgetting huge names, and then I'm going to read your top 10s and go, man, I want that too. Why didn't I put that on my top 10? All that stuff. I love it, guys. Drop a comment and let me know. But at my number 1 spot, I've mentioned it before and I've spoiled it in other comments of other videos, just talking amongst the community with you guys. I need to see the John Cena heel turn from Elimination Chamber in Canada as an Ultimate Edition. I know they're giving him the Ultimate for the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. That's a very nice tribute. It's an awesome figure, but his heel turn is iconic and it needs to be immortalized in Ultimate Edition form with an updated torso. He doesn't need to be Super Cena and look ginormous. He needs to be normal John Cena now, who's I think 50 years old. He needs to be that guy. He needs to have the new angry head scans. He needs to have the watch that he kept hitting Cody Rhodes with, maybe some blood on his hands, I don't know. But I just think that this needs to be a figure. I don't want to see Travis Scott before I see heel John Cena. If that happens, you'll hear my rant. I'll probably be on here. I just do not want to see that. I need to see the heel John Cena in Ultimate Edition form. It needs to happen. I'm not going to go into a whole spiel, but it needs to happen at this year's San Diego Comic-Con. At least a render, like I said, needs to happen. We got a lot of figures we're going to see in hand that we saw renders of at WrestleMania. This is going to be a super exciting San Diego Comic-Con, guys. I cannot wait to get on here and talk about the reveals. We'll probably split it up and do Elites, then Ultimate Editions, or Day 1, Day 2. I don't know. They always kill it. I'm super stoked. I hope you guys are excited. Thank you again for being here, for watching. And again, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe, that like button. I appreciate it so much. Helps the channel grow. Thank you again for being here. As always, take care. God bless. And let me know what you want to see. Let's talk about it down below. Thanks again for watching, guys.